Ornstein, born Lev Ornshteyn, Lev Ornshteyn, c. December 11, 1895, February 24, 2002, was a leading American experimental composer and pianist of the early 20th century. His performances of works by avant-garde composers and his own innovative and even shocking pieces made him a cause celebre on both sides of the Atlantic. Ornstein was the first important composer to make extensive use of the tone cluster. As a pianist, he was considered a world-class talent. By the mid-1920s, he had walked away from his fame and soon disappeared from popular memory. Though he gave his last public concert before the age of 40, he continued writing music for another half-century and beyond. Largely forgotten for decades, he was rediscovered in the mid-1970s. Ornstein completed his eighth and final piano sonata in September 1990 at the age of 94, making him the oldest published composer in history, a mark since passed by Lev Ornshteyn. Early life. Ornstein was born in Kremenchuk, a large town in the Ukrainian province of Poltava, then under Imperial Russian rule. He grew up in a musical environment. His father was a Jewish cantor, while a violinist uncle encouraged the young boy's studies. Ornstein was recognized early on as a prodigy on the piano. In 1902, when the celebrated Polish pianist Joseph Hoffman visited Kremenchuk, he heard the 6-year-old Ornstein perform. Hoffman gave him a letter of recommendation to the highly regarded St. Petersburg Conservatory. Soon after, Ornstein was accepted as a pupil at the Imperial School of Music in Kiev, then headed by Vladimir Panchalsky. A death in the family forced Ornstein's return home. In 1903, Osip Gavrilovich heard him play and recommended him to the Moscow Conservatory. In 1904, the 9-year-old Ornstein auditioned for and was accepted by the St. Petersburg School. There he studied composition with Alexander Blazanov and piano with Anna Yosipova. By the age of 11, Ornstein was earning his way by coaching opera singers. To escape the pogroms incited by the nationalist and anti-Semitic Organization Union of the Russian People, the family emigrated to the United States on February 24, 1906, exactly 96 years before his death. They settled in New York's Lower East Side, and Ornstein enrolled in the Institute of Musical Art, predecessor to the Juilliard School, where he studied piano with Bertha Faring-Tapper. In 1911, he made a well-received New York debut with pieces by Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, and Schumann. Recordings 2 years later of works by Chopin, Grieg, and Puccini demonstrate, according to music historian Michael Broyles, a pianist of sensitivity, prodigious technical ability, and artistic maturity. Fame and futurism. Ornstein soon moved in a very different direction. He began imagining and then writing works with new sounds, dissonant and startling. Ornstein himself was unsettled by the earliest of these compositions. I really doubted my sanity at first. I simply said, "What is that?" It was so completely removed from any experience I ever had. On March 27, 1914, in London, he gave his first public performance of works then called Futurist, now known as Modernist. In addition to the Busoni arrangement of 3 Bach choral preludes and several pieces by Schoenberg, Ornstein played a number of his own compositions. The concert caused a major stir. One newspaper described Ornstein's work as the sum of Schoenberg and Scriabine, squared. Others were less analytical. "We have never suffered from such insufferable hideousness, expressed in terms of so-called music." Ornstein's follow-up performance provoked a near riot. "At my second concert, devoted to my own compositions, I might have played anything. I couldn't hear the piano myself. The crowd whistled and howled and even threw handy missiles on the stage." The reaction, however, was by no means universally negative. The musical standard called him one of the most remarkable composers of the day, with that germ of realism and humanity which is indicative of genius. By the next year, he was the talk of the American music scene for his performances of cutting-edge works by Schoenberg, Scriabine, Bartók, Debussy, Corelli, Ravel, and Stravinsky, many of them US premieres, as well as his own, even more radical compositions. Between 1915 and the early 1920s, when he virtually ceased performing in public, Ornstein was one of the best-known, by some lights, notorious figures in American classical music. In the description of Broyles and Denise van Glan, his draw was immense. He constantly performed before packed halls, often more than 2,000, in many places the largest audience of the season got. His solo piano pieces, such as Wild Men's Dance, Akadence Sovich, K. 1913-14, and Impressions of the Thames, K. 1913-14, pioneered the integrated use of the tone cluster in classical music composition, which Henry Cowell, 3 years Ornstein's junior, would do even more to popularize. In the description of scholar Gordon Ramsden, Wild Men's Dance is a work of vehement, unruly rhythm, compounded of dense chord clusters, and brutal accents. Complex rhythms and gigantic crashing chords traverse the whole range of the piano. This remains a work for a great virtuoso able to imbue it with a burning, ferocious energy. Aaron Copland recalled the performance of it as the most controversial moment of his later teen years. In 2002, a New York Times reviewer declared that it remains a shocker. According to critic Kyle Gann, impressions of the Thames, if Debussy in its textures, used more prickly chords than Debussy ever dared, and also clusters in the treble range, and a low pounding that foreshadowed Charlie Magny Palestine, yet modulated, with a compelling sense of unity. As an example of what Ornstein described as abstract music, his Sonata for Violin and Piano, 1915, not 1913, as is often erroneously given, went even further to the brink, as he puts it. I would say that the sonata had brought music just to the very edge. I just simply drew back and said, beyond that lies complete chaos. In 1916, critic Herbert F. Pacer declared that the world has indeed moved between the epoch of Beethoven and of Lev Ornshteyn. That spring, Ornstein gave a series of recitals in the New York home of one of his advocates. These concerts were crucial precedents for the composer societies around which the modern music scene would thrive in the 1920s. Ornstein also traveled to New Orleans in 1916, where he discovered jazz. The following year, critic James Honecker wrote, I never thought I should live to hear Arnold Schoenberg sound tame, yet tame he sounds almost timid and halting after Ornstein, who is, most emphatically, the only true blue, genuine, futurist composer alive. In addition to futurist, Ornstein was also sometimes labeled, along with Cowell and others in their circle, an ultramodernist. An article in the Baltimore Evening Sun referred to him as the intransigent pianist, who has set the entire musical world by the ears and who is probably the most discussed figure on the concert stage. In the Musical Quarterly he was described as the most salient musical phenomenon of our time. Swiss-born composer Ernest Bloch declared him the single composer in America who displays positive signs of genius. By 1918, Ornstein was sufficiently renowned that a full-length biography of him was published. The book, by Frederick H. Marx, suggests not only the level of Ornstein's fame at age 24, but also his divisive effect on the cultural scene. Lev Ornshteyn to many represents an evil musical genius wandering without the utmost pale of tonal orthodoxy, in a weird no-man's land haunted with tortuous sound, with wails of futuristic despair, with cubist shrieks, and post-impressionist cries and crashes. He is the great anarch, the iconoclast. Cowell, who had encountered Ornstein while studying in New York, would pursue a similarly radical style as part of a grand intellectual and cultural mission, which also involved ambitious writings on music theory and publishing and promotional efforts in support of the avant-garde. Ornstein, the vanguard iconoclast of American classical music, followed a much more idiosyncratic muse. I'm guided entirely by just my musical instinct as to what I feel is consequential or inconsequential. Evidence of that is the fact that, even at the height of his ultramodernist notoriety, he also wrote several lyrical, tone works, such as the first sonata for cello and piano. It was written in less than a week under a compulsion that was not to be resisted, Ornstein later said. Why I should have heard this romantic piece at the same period that I was tumultuously involved in the primitivism of other works, is beyond my understanding. Commenting on the piece after Ornstein's death approximately 3/4 of a century later, critic Martin Anderson wrote that it rivals Rachmaninoff's cello sonata in gorgeous tunes. Before the turn of the decade, probably in 1918 or 1919, Ornstein produced one of his most distinctive works involving tone clusters, Suicide in an Airplane. Its score calls for a high-speed bass ostinato pattern meant to simulate the sound of engines and capture the sensation of flight. The piece would serve as an inspiration for the Airplane Sonata, 1923, of George Antheil, who reflected Ornstein's influence in other works, such as Sonata Sauvage, 1923. Writing in 2000, pianist and historian Joseph Smith cited Suicide in an Airplane among those pieces of Ornstein's that represented, and may still represent, the ne plus ultra of pianistic violence. Transition in the 1920s. Ornstein, burned out, effectively gave up his celebrated performance career in the early 1920s. His music was soon forgotten, writes scholar Eric Levy, leaving him an essentially peripheral figure in American music life. As described by Broyles, Ornstein had mostly retired by the time the new music organizations of the 1920s appeared. Too early and too independent, Ornstein had little desire to participate in the modernist movement by the time it caught hold in the United States. He seemed little bothered by the publicity or the lack of it. He listened only to his own voice. Ornstein's primary compositional style was changing as well. As described by latter-day critic Gordon Rumson, his music language organized itself into a shimmering, luminous gradation between simplicity and harshness. The melodies have a hybrid tint, and Ornstein does not shy from placing dissonant and tonal music side by side. This shifting of style is just one of Ornstein's creative tools. More importantly, there is a directness of emotion that makes the music genuinely appealing. It should also be noted that his music is ideally written for the piano and is clearly the work of a master pianist. This transformation contributed to Ornstein's fade into obscurity. Those whom he had inspired now rejected him, almost as vehemently as the critics he had shocked a decade earlier. He had been radical modernism's poster boy throughout the 1910s, and when he abandoned that style for one more expressive, the ultramoderns reacted as a lover scorned, according to Broyles. Not even Cowell, known for his accepting temperament, could forgive Ornstein. Having abandoned not only the concert stage, but also the income that went with it, Ornstein signed an exclusive contract with the Empico label to make piano rolls. He made over 2 dozen rolls for Empico, mostly of a non-modernist repertoire. The composers he performed most often were Chopin, Schumann, and Liszt. 2 rolls contained his own compositions: Versus, Cradle Song, Ca. 1920-21, and Prelude Tragic, 1924. Ornstein never recorded, in any format, even a single example of his futurist pieces, which had brought him fame. In the mid-1920s, Ornstein left New York to accept a teaching post at the Philadelphia Musical Academy, later part of the University of the Arts. During this period, he wrote some of his most important work, including the Piano Concerto, commissioned by the Philadelphia Orchestra in 1925. 2 years later, he produced his Piano Quintet, an epic tonal work marked by an adventurous use of dissonance and complex rhythmic arrangements. It is recognized as a masterpiece of the genre. Later life. In the early 1930s, Ornstein gave his last public performance. A few years later, he and his wife, the former Pauline Koscielny Prevost, 1892-1985, also a pianist, founded the Ornstein School of Music in Philadelphia. Among the students there, John Coltrane and Jimmy Smith would go on to major careers in jazz. The Ornsteins directed and taught at the school until it closed with their retirement in 1953. They essentially disappeared from public view until the mid-1970s, when they were tracked down by music historian Vivian Perles. The couple was spending the winter in a Texas trailer park. They also had a home in New Hampshire. Ornstein had continued to compose music. Equipped with a powerful memory, he was not diligent about writing it all down, and had not sought to publicize it for decades. Though his style had tempered greatly since the 1910s, it retained its unique character, and with his rediscovery came a new burst of productivity. In Gen's description, piano works composed by Ornstein in his 80s, such as Solitude and Rendezvous at the Lake, featured melodies that sprang through endless ornate curlicues that brought no other composer to mind. In 1988, the 92-year-old Ornstein wrote his 7th piano sonata. With this composition, Ornstein became, by a couple of years, the oldest published composer, until Elliott Carter, ever to produce a substantial new work. On September 23, 1990, at the age of 94, Ornstein completed his final work, the 8th Piano Sonata. The names of the sonata's movements reflect not only the passage of a remarkable span of time, but an undimmed sense of humor and exploratory spirit. Life's turmoil and a few bits of satire/Roman too. A trip to the attic, a tear or two for a childhood forever gone. A. The bugler/B. A lament for a lost toy/C. A half-mutilated cradle versus/D. First carousel ride and sounds of a hurdy-gurdy/Roman 3. Disciplines and improvisations. Reviewing the work's New York debut, critic Anthony Tomasini wrote, "Between the roaring craziness of the first and third movements, the middle movement is a suite of 4 short musical musings on childhood mementos discovered in an attic. Though completely incongruous, the shift in tone is audacious and the music disarming." The audience listened raptly, then erupted in applause. On February 24, 2002, Ornstein died in Green Bay, Wisconsin. At the age of 106, he was among the longest-lived of composers. Notes: Ornstein's exact date of birth is ambiguous, with various sources stating dates in 1892, 1893 or 1895, but official documents from 1917, 1920 and 1942 suggest a December 11, 1895 birth date. In addition to the citations below, see also, for example, Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p. 9, A Pianist of Extraordinary Skill, Romson, 2002, p. 352, Enormous Pianistic Skills, Perles, 1983, p. p. 104, recognized as a world-famous concert pianist. According to Otto, 2000, he was the single most important figure on the American modern music scene in the 1910s, p. 15. Marx, 1975, pp. 10-11. Note that Marx, like many others, has the incorrect year of Ornstein's birth, and thus his age wrong. Marx says he was 8 when he entered the school. Anderson, 2002a, for example, says he was 12. Part of the confusion is based in the fact that Ornstein was under the age limit when he entered the conservatory, so a false date of birth was given to the school, identifying him as older than he was. See, for example, Anderson, 2002a. On other occasions, the family apparently understated the boy's age, to make him appear that much more of a prodigy. See, for example, Postlude. Vivian Perlis remembers Lev Ornshteyn, archived 2011-06-04 at the Wayback Machine New Music Box, April 1, 2002, Web Magazine of the American Music Center. Retrieved 1/31/07. Aside from this issue, Marx's veiling of Ornstein's encounters with famous pianists, and the sequence of educational opportunities appears to be the most authoritative. Archived copy. Archived from the original on June 4, 2011. Retrieved 2005-10-06.cs1 maint. Archived copy as title, link, cs1 maint. But, original URL status unknown, link, .mw parser output site, citation, font style inherit, .mw parser output citation q, quotes, // .mw parser output citation.cs1 lock for you, background URL / upload.wikimedia.org / wikipedia / commons / thumb /6 / 65 / lockgreen.svg / 9px lockgreen.svg.png. No repeat. Background position right .1m center .mw parser output citation.cs1 lock limited.mw parser output citation.cs1 lock registration of background URL / upload.wikimedia.org / wikipedia / commons / thumb /d/d6 lockgrey.alt2.svg / 9px lockgrey.alt2.svg.png. No repeat. Background position right .1m center .mw parser output citation.cs1 lock subscription of background URL / upload.wikimedia.org / wikipedia / commons / thumb /a / lockred.alt2.svg / 9px lockred.alt2.svg.png. No re.mw parser output cs1 registration color #555.mw parser output cs1 subscription span.mw parser output cs1 registration span order bottom 1px valid cursor help.mw parser output cs1 ws icon of background URL / upload.wikimedia.org / wikipedia / commons / thumb /4/4c / wikisource logo.svg / 12px wikisource logo.svg.png. No repeat. Background position right .1m center .mw parser output code.cs1 code color inherit background inherit border inherit padding inherit .mw parser output cs1 hidden error display none font size 100% .mw parser output cs1 visible error font size 100% .mw parser output cs1 maint display none color #33 or 33 margin left 0.3m .mwp parser output cs1 format font size 95% .mw parser output cs1 kern left .mw parser output cs1 kern wl left padding left 0.2m .mw parser output cs1 kern right .mw parser output cs1 kern wl right padding right 0.2m. Broyles, 2004, p73. Jump up to Abby Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p3. Broyles, 2004, p75. Jump up to Abby quoted in Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p4. Though today the term futurist is closely associated with the art movement that emerged in Italy late in the first decade of the 1900s, it was often used more broadly in the early part of the century to refer to avant-garde art, now commonly referred to as modernist. Jump up to Abby quoted in Broyles, 2004, p78. Quoted in Broyles, 2004, pp. 78-79. Broyles, 2004, p72, Marx, 1975, p29. Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p4. Romson, 2002, p352. Grundon, 2000, p213. Jump up to Abby Tomasini, 2002. Jump up to Abby Gen, 2000. See, for example, Ornstein, 2002. Beware that these notes also incorrectly claim that Ornstein never again played in public after the mid-1920s. Quoted in Broyles, 2004, p. 80. Jump Up to a be quoted in Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p. 2. Ota, 2000, p. 216. Grundon, 2000, p. 3. See Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p. 9. Jump Up to a be quoted in Anderson, 2002a. Quoted in Broyles, 2004, p. 342, n3. Quoted in Grundon, 2000, pp. 45. Marx, 1975, p. 9. Quoted in Romson, 2002, pp. 353-54. Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, Ed the Piece 1915, p. 5. Anderson, 2002a, and the detailed website maintained by the composer's son, Severo dated 1918. Retrieved 1/31/07. Quoted in Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, p. 6. Anderson, 2002a. C. Anderson, 2002b, on question of dating. Levy, 2000, p. 331. Confoundingly, Levy declares, Ornstein's brief flirtation with futurism appears superficial and sensationalist, despite the facts that, in the immediately preceding paragraph he observes that the composer appears to have had no contact with the Italian futurists, hardly a flirtation, and b. Ornstein wrote significant works in a futurist style for over half a decade, hardly brief. C. Romson, 2002, p. 353. Smith, 2001, p. Roman 6. Broyles, 2004, p. 80. Levy, 2000, p. 331. Jump Up to a B. Broyles, 2004, p. 81. Broyles, 2004, p. 150. Perlis, 1983, p. 104. Note that Perlis imprecisely states, N.O. recordings of Ornstein's music or his performances existed prior to 1976. In fact, as noted above and described by Broyles, 2004, Ornstein did record the work of others for Columbia Records in 1913. Serialography Archive, 2014-04-12 at the Wayback Machine, part of the Reproducing Binaural Foundation Archive, 2007-07-15 at the Wayback Machine. Broyles, 2004, says this took place in 1924, pp. 80-81. Broyles, again, with Van Glan, 2007, says 1925, p4. See, for example, Anderson, 2002a. Pollack, 2000, confirms Ornstein performed at a 1930 Copland Sessions concert, p44. Stegner, 1997, in his well-sourced notes, gives 1933 as the date of Ornstein's last public concert, though he does give the incorrect 1913 for Suicide in an Airplane. Broyles, 2004, writes that the school was founded in 1934, p. 81. Broyles and Van Glan, 2007, indicate that it was 1935, p. 4. Anderson, 2002a, says it was 1940. Porter, 1999, p. 33. Matheson, 2002, p. 53. Postlude. Vivian Perlis remembers Lev Ornshteyn, Archive 2011-06-04 at the Wayback Machine New Music Box, April 1, 2002, Web Magazine of the American Music Center. Retrieved 1/30/07. Archived copy. Archived from the original on June 4, 2011. Retrieved 2005-10-06.cs1 maint. Archived copy as title, link, CS1 maint. But, original URL status unknown, link. Broyles, 2004, p. 81, Anderson, 2002a. Anderson, 2002b. Note that Hyperion's online track listing for Marc-André Hamelin's performance of the 8th piano sonata mistakenly refers to Lament for a Lost Way and Sources of a Hurdy-Gurdy. The liner notes by Anderson, 2002b, correctly state Lament for a Lost Way and Sounds of a Hurdy-Gurdy. Midget, 2002. Sources. Anderson, Martin, 2002a. Obituary, Lev Ornshteyn, The Independent, London, February 28. Anderson, Martin, 2002b. Liner notes to Lev Ornshteyn. Piano music, Hyperion 67320, available online. Broyles, Michael, 2004. Mavericks and Other Traditions in American Music. New Haven, Conn, and London, Yale University Press. ISBN 0-300-10045-0. Broyles, Michael, and Denise Van Glan, 2007. Liner notes to Lev Ornshteyn. Complete works for cello and piano, New World 80655, available online. Grundon, Robert Morse, 2000. Body and Soul, The Making of American Modernism. New York, Basic Books. ISBN 0-465-01484-4. Gain, Kyle, 2000. Tri-Century Man, Village Voice, December 19, p. 136, available online. Levy, Eric, 2000. Futurist Influences upon Early 20th Century Music, in International Futurism in Arts and Literature, ed. Unterbergus. Berlin, Walter de Gruyter, pp. 322-52. ISBN 3-11-015681-4. Mars, Frederick H., 1975-1918. Lev Ornshteyn, The Man, His Ideas, His Work. New York, Arno, excerpted online. ISBN 0-405-06732-1. Matheson, Kenny, 2002. Cooking, Hard Bop and Soul Jazz, 1954-65. Edinburgh, Canongate. ISBN 1-84195-239-7. Midget, N. 2002. Lev Ornshteyn, 108, pianist and avant-garde composer, New York Times, March 5. Oja, Carol J. 2000. Making Music Modern, New York in the 1920s. New York and Oxford, Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-19-500-5849-6. Ornstein, Severo M. 2002. Liner notes to Lev Ornshteyn. Piano Sonatas, Naxos 8.559104. Perles, Vivian, 1983. String Quartet No. 3 by Lev Ornshteyn. Recording Review, American Music Vol. 1, No. 1, Spring, pp. 146. Pollack, Howard, 2000, 1999. Aaron Copland, The Life and Work of an Uncommon Man. Urban and Chicago, University of Illinois Press. ISBN 0-252-06900-5. Porter, Louis, 1999-1998. John Coltrane, His Life and Music. Ann Arbor, University of Michigan Press. ISBN 0-472-10161-7. Rumson, Gordon, 2002. Lev Ornshteyn, 1892-2002, In Music of the 20th Century Avant-Garde, a Biocritical Sourcebook, ed. Larry Sitski, New York, Greenwood, pp. 351-57, ISBN 0-313-29689-8. Smith, Joseph, ed. 2001, Introduction dated 2000, American Piano Classics, 39 works by Gottschalk, Griffiths, Gershwin, Copland, and others. Mignola, N.Y., couriered over. ISBN 0-486-41377-2. Stegner, Daniel, 1997. Liner notes to Lev Ornshteyn. Piano Quintet and String Quartet No. 3, New World 80509, available online. Tomasini, Anthony, 2002. A Russian Rhapsody with the Power to Jolt, New York Times, March 28. Van Glan, Denise, and Michael Broyles, eds. 2005. Lev Ornshteyn, Quintet for Piano and Strings, Op. 92. Music of the United States of America, Musa, Vol. 13. Madison, Whisk, Air Editions.